So I was scrolling through TikTok like I usually do when I came across a video captioned "The Devil" by a very popular creator named Griffin. And no disrespect to him personally, but this was generally one of the worst videos I've ever seen. And to be clear, this isn't a hate video directed at him, it's more like a hate video directed at his opinion. The premise of the video is that if you're religious, you're automatically closer to worshiping the devil than an atheist is. So let's look what he has to say.
No one's worshiping the devil, because the only people who believe in the devil are religious people. You know what I mean? Like Christians, Muslims, Jews, etc. Like, they believe in the devil. Pretty sure. Like, you know, it's not like an atheist is worshiping the devil.
We don't believe in the devil.
It's not a real being.
Now, if this was all that was said, I think it's fair to say that this is a fair statement. But based on things he says later, it's not. Now, the statement itself is true, but there's an underlying message that he's trying to get across. When he says this, he is either intentionally or unintentionally overlooking people who actually identify as Satanists or occultists. He's blurring the lines between believing in the devil's existence and being associated with the devil. Now, to argue his other point, most atheists don't believe in the devil, but there are some atheistic groups that use Satan symbolically, and there are other groups, like I said earlier, who would actually call themselves a Satanist.
Themselves. So when you make the sign of the horns, guess what? You'll know who those two horns are.
Now let's get to his other point.
So, you know, in fact, and this is
Purely hypothetical, I'm just saying that
if you're religious, you're probably closer to worshiping the devil, like chances are, because like you're worshiping.
so like that's step one.
Now this is probably the dumbest shit both of us have heard all day. But I need to hit my video length quota, so I'm gonna argue it anyways. If we're discussing devil worship, why are we spending all of our time talking about religions that explicitly teach people to resist the devil instead of discussing people who actually claim allegiance to him? And more importantly, that's not how worship works. He's acting like worship is some neutral action that can randomly drift toward whatever object is nearby. Like if you're worshiping God, you're somehow halfway to worshiping the devil. But in virtually every religion he mentioned, worship is directed specifically toward God, and their scriptures repeatedly tell followers to reject the devil. That's the entire point. It's not a stepping stone towards Satan, it's the exact opposite. A good analogy would be this. That's like saying a superhero is closer to becoming a villain than someone who ignores villains exist simply because the superhero has to engage with villains. So his point just doesn't make sense. The superhero isn't moving toward villainy, he's opposing it. In the same way, worshiping God isn't a step toward the devil, it's a step away from him. Now let's get into what I think is his weakest point in the entire video.
So like it could be because like the devil is smart or whatever, like could be tricking you into thinking like he's God, right? Like just like throwing all this imagery up and then you're worshiping it. It's like, well, I'm not worshiping anything, so I know I'm definitely not worshiping the devil, but
There's a chance you are.
yeah, just
That would suck. That would suck.
but I'm safe.
At first, that sounds clever, but once you think about it for more than half a second, the argument completely collapses. He says there's a chance a Christian could get manipulated by the devil to trick them into worshiping it. But if I was to tell him, an atheist, that the devil was manipulating him into rejecting religion and sinning every day, he wouldn't take me serious because he doesn't believe in God. So which is it? You can't say you're immune to the devil's manipulation because he doesn't exist, and then immediately turn around and argue that Christians are vulnerable to that same manipulation. Those two ideas don't fit together. The entire argument relies on concepts that only exist within Christianity while simultaneously rejecting Christianity's basic premises. He's making claims that only function inside the Christian worldview while insisting he doesn't believe in that worldview. And that's why, to me, the argument feels so inconsistent. Now, personally, I'm not really a religious person at all, and I'm not making this video because I'm offended. I'm making it because I think bad arguments should be called out regardless of who makes them. And whether you're religious, atheist, agnostic, or somewhere in between, I think at least we should try to represent other people's beliefs accurately before criticizing them. You don't have to agree with Christianity, you don't have to agree with Islam, you don't have to agree with Judaism. But if you're going to critique a belief system, the critique should actually make sense within the framework you're discussing. And this one just doesn't. Anyway, that's all I got for today, so let me know what you think in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one.